Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you all to the 2020 UAE Arab Women Awards. I'm your host, Moni Hilal. On behalf of ITP Media Group and Mall of the Emirates, I would like to thank all our guests for being here and our guests at home for tuning in. I'm coming to you from this year's World of Fashion presented by Harper's Bazaar Arabia. The Arab Women Awards were launched in 2009 by ITP to positively showcase women from the Gulf region. During the past decade, these awards have proudly highlighted the achievements of almost 400 talented, hardworking individuals. Some previous winners include Her Excellency Sheikha Al-Qasimi, Balkis Fathi, and Inji Shalhoub. We are honored that the Arab Women Awards UAE 2020 is held under the patronage of His Excellency Sheikh Nahyan bin Mubarak Al Nahyan, UAE Minister of Tolerance and Coexistence. This year's awards are helping to support UN women raise awareness for their COVID-19 initiatives. The awards are exceptionally special this year as we are dedicating them to the women who have been positively impacting society through their actions during the coronavirus pandemic. Please join me in welcoming via video His Excellency Sheikh Nahyan bin Mubarak Al Nahyan.
Welcome to Cyberspace and the Arab Women Awards 2020. The extraordinary Arab women being honored today bring the virtual to life. They are as real as their accomplishments. Many of these accomplishments have distinguished our response to COVID-19. We should all recognize and acknowledge the leading role being played so brilliantly by Arab women in the COVID-19 drama, women in the medical profession, women promoting humanitarian causes, and women in education. They have all dominated the stage. They have led other women, indeed, all of us, to join them in helping our societies get well and stay well. In 2020, the elements in society have been significant, coping with grief, with separation from loved ones, with financial woes, with suspended routines, with fears for the future, with cabin fever. Those challenges and more can poison a society, but women in the region have drawn on their strength, tolerance, compassion, and empathy to ease pain and minister to society. Today, we are celebrating the fact that Arab women play important roles in work, policy, government, family, and culture. Indeed, in all aspects of society. Their full participation in each of these areas has contributed significantly to the successful social and economic development in our region. Here in the UAE, it is women's engagement and participation that has enabled our country to build a model of tolerance, coexistence, and prosperity that is an example to the region and to the world. The mother of our nation, Her Highness Sheikha bint Mubarak, is a powerful champion for the empowerment of women in the UAE and the region. She has always recognized that women possess priceless talents, skills, experiences, and viewpoints vital to a nourishing society, a vibrant economy, and a well-functioning world. We are indeed grateful to the Arab women being honored today. We congratulate them for their many achievements and for the awards that they have earned. And I, for one, relieved, but not surprised, that Sue Holt and her superb ITP media group have braved the pandemic and organized this virtually perfect event. I extend my thanks to you all, and once again, I offer my special congratulations to the Arab women receiving awards today. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you very much for such an inspiring speech, Your Excellency. Thank you for your continued patronage. Our next special guest flew in from Cairo to be with us. Please join me in welcoming UN Women Regional Director of the Arab States, Dr. Muaz Dureid.
Greetings, مساء الخير. I was smiling under the mask, but had to remove the mask for this special event. Indeed, it's my first in-person exposure since March, and I'd like to start by thanking the sponsors of this event, the ITP Media Group, Harper's Bazaar, and Mall of Emirates, for working to bring us gradually back to normalcy. أصحاب السعادة ممثلات وممثلو حكومة دولة الإمارات العربية المتحدة ومضيفونا مول الإمارات. السيدة سو هولد مديرة إدارة مجموعة ITP ميديا. سيداتي سادتي، أود البدء بالإعراب عن تقديري العميق الشيخ نهيان بن مبارك النهيان، وزير التسامح والتعايش، على رعايته لجائزة المرأة العربية لهذا العام. كما أود أن أعرب عن كامل تقديرنا نيابة عن هيئة الأمم المتحدة للمرأة ل ITP ميديا لكونها الأولى في اغتنام الفرصة التي قدمتها جوائز 2020 لتسليط الضوء تأثير جائحة كوفيد-19 على النساء. فهذا هو الوقت المناسب لإبراز إنجازات النساء في المنطقة العربية. ولنعلم جميعاً أن المرأة يجب أن تكون في المقدمة ومحور جهود الإنعاش على كافة الأصعدة، وطنياً، إقليمياً، وعالمياً. هنتقل إلى الإنجليزية. Data shows that around the world, women and girls are disproportionately affected by the pandemic. Women and girls are bearing the consequences of historical structural inequalities in our socio-economic systems. Under usual conditions, the challenges for women are difficult enough. With the global pandemic and a once-in-a-century financial crisis that we are experiencing nowadays, such inequalities have life-altering impact for women and girls. Even before the pandemic, while women in the Arab world, women in Gulf countries, and in the United Arab Emirates have covered vast ground in improving their education, ascending in terms of educational attainment faster than women anywhere else in the world, if you look at the data, in the Arab region, and particularly for the Gulf regions and for the United Arab Emirates. But yet, these capabilities in terms of education and better health contrast with a persistent lack of opportunities. Opportunities, for example, in participation in the labor market. Across the Arab region, only 1/5 of women participate in the labor force, a rate lower than any other region in the world. And this 20% participation rate women has persisted for the 30 years that I have worked on development for this region. And then comes the pandemic, and we see across the region about 1.7 million jobs will be lost. Most will be lost for women. About 700,000 jobs will be lost that are currently occupied by women. Women continue to be underrepresented in the private sector, and particularly in leadership positions in the private sectors, as I was just discussing with colleagues and friends before this event. And then women in crisis countries, in Yemen, in Syria, in Libya, bear a disproportionate burden. And everywhere across the region, they continue to be most vulnerable to violence within their homes. Domestic violence is a phenomenon that affects all countries of the world and affects countries in this region. A study conducted by my organization, UN Women, in 9 Arab countries revealed that women in 7 of those countries reported an increased fear of domestic violence during the pandemic. We have also observed that services to prevent and counter domestic violence, including hotlines, have received multiple requests compared to before the pandemic. So this is a time of great challenge, but it is also a time of opportunity. With the leadership and talents of Arab women, with the leadership and talents of the majority of this audience, we can strive for a more inclusive and more equitable society where women enjoy fundamental rights and freedoms and an equal role in the public sphere. 2 exciting developments in our region highlight the potential for change. First, women have made an extraordinary contribution to the launch earlier this year of the United Arab Emirates Mars exploration project, Probe of Hope, whose scientific team comprises 80% women. Another example, this ambitious and historic effort of Probe of Hope is paralleled in another space. Members of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation have decided to establish a Women and Development Agency. And this new agency that UN Women is supporting will focus on key areas critical to the achievement of gender equality and women's empowerment, not only in the Arab states, but across the 54 members of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. Interestingly, it's the organization with the largest number of member states after the United Nations. And this new organization will focus on preventing and addressing violence against women, preventing violent extremism, and also women's economic inclusion and empowerment. It is my hope that these two historic milestones I mentioned will inspire future women and future winners of the Arab Women's Award. I know that many of you come from the private sector, and I'm keen to share with you information about a program that UN Women is sponsoring around the world to promote corporations, companies, private sector entities to ensure inclusive work environments and women ascendance in leadership. The program is the Women Empowerment Principles, which works with the private sector through the platform that provides benchmarks and indicators for private sector companies to improve the status of women and their participation, particularly in leadership, and to ensure equal pay for equal work. Because gender equality is more than just a moral responsibility, it is also great for business, and by adopting these women empowerment principles, the WEPS companies are not only empowering women, but also investing in business. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I salute and encourage the achievement made by this year's award winners. May their inspirational leadership guide us in our reflections on how to build back better and stronger, more inclusive societies, more equal societies as we rise from the crisis. And be assured of UN Women's, our continued commitment to work with the United Arab Emirates and with our partners, as well as with civil society and the private sector towards achieving gender equality and the empowerment of women. Thank you very much.
Thank you, UN Women, for this year's partnership. We will now watch a tough but important video from UN Women showing how women and girls in this region are among the hardest hit by COVID-19.
Throughout history, throughout every humanitarian crisis, women and girls are hit the hardest. The COVID-19 pandemic is no different. Since it began, the challenges women face have been amplified. In the Arab states region, this is especially true. 80% of nursing and care staff are women, which puts them at a higher risk of infection. They carry out 4.7 times more unpaid household and care work than men, already the highest rate in the world. Women's participation in the labour market stands at only 21%, while they are set to lose 700,000 jobs. In the informal economy, 60% of workers are women. They risk losing their livelihoods during the crisis, and most will fall into poverty as a result. But the suffering does not end there. Lockdown leaves women and girls vulnerable to domestic violence. It cuts them off from protection and social services and limits their access to maternal and reproductive health care. COVID-19 has further exposed inequalities and discrimination across social, political, and economic systems, reversing decades of progress on gender equality and women's rights. We need to act now to contain an escalating situation, an unacceptable situation. Responses to COVID-19 cannot be gender blind. They must be inclusive, coordinated, and effective to address the needs and priorities of women and girls in this pandemic and support their crucial role as agents of change. We need responses that speak to our humanity, ones that are gender equal, ensuring that no one is left behind.
That was a really difficult video to watch. Let us unite to ensure that their voices are fully represented and their needs in this pandemic are addressed. Before we begin the awards to find out the winners we have for you today, please allow me to introduce our phenomenal judges. They are, in alphabetical order, Ilham Al-Qasim, CEO of Digital 14. Manal Ataya, Director General of the Sharjah Museums Authority. Her Excellency Mariam Al-Meheri, Vice Chair of 2454. Nada Abu Saab, Marketing Director of Majid Al-Futtaim East Region Shopping Malls. Nadine Malouf, Founder of 81 Designs. Paula Al-Askari, Art Patron. Dr. Sausan Al-Madi, Director General of Friends of Cancer Patients. Sheikha Noura bint Khalifa Al-Khalifa, Founder of 9 Training. Please join me in thanking the judges for their time and effort in judging the awards this year. At this stage, I would like to welcome Nada Abu Saab, a first-time judge and sponsor of the Arab Women Awards this year.
It is with great honor that I speak to you today on behalf of Mall of the Emirates and Majd Al-Futtaim to tell you how excited we are to host the Arab Women Awards 2020. As champions of the communities and the people we serve, we always strive to celebrate and reward the individuals who contribute to the growth and development of our Arab world. This is why we're dedicating a lot of effort and time to sponsoring this event and spotlighting women. Across the region, Arab women have been incredibly influential, driving growth, affirming change, inspiring success, putting on an affirming showcase of Arab excellence for the world to see. And this year has been quite an exceptional year, where life-saving efforts and accomplishments have been remarkable, spurring us all to persevere, push on, and live our dreams. As every year, the caliber of this year's nominees was outstanding. Each and every individual, each and every woman that has been nominated characterizes what outstanding looks like. I am very honored and happy to serve as a judge in this year's Arab Women Award, a personal distinction that I hold great to my heart and I will cherish for years to come. We're looking forward to dedicating this year's World of Fashion 2020 to celebrating women, the very fabric of our society.
Thank you, Nada, Majd Al-Futtaim, and Mall of the Emirates for your support for this year's awards. We start our ceremony today with an extraordinary category, the humanitarian category. This phenomenal woman has supervised the UAE's biggest community drive, the 10 Million Meals campaign. Its aim was to provide food assistance to less fortunate families and individuals by allowing everyone to financially contribute towards providing meals or donating food items and parcels directly to those in need across the UAE. The humanitarian award goes to Her Highness Sheikha Hind bin Maktoum bin Juma al Maktoum.
العطاء هو مفتاح السعادة وهو شكل من أشكال الوفاء. وفي الإمارات وبالتزامن مع شهر الخير وبتوجيهات من الشيخ محمد بن راشد الله يحفظه، أعلنت الشيخة هند بن مكتوم عن حملة إنسانية عظيمة 10 ملايين وجبة.
الحمد لله احنا في بلاد ما قصروا فينا ما شاء الله، يحسوا في كل إنسان.
771,535 وجبة قدمها 87,201 متبرع عبر الرسائل النصية. 1,338,682 وجبة ساهم فيها 22,892 متبرع عبر الموقع الإلكتروني. 726,392 وجبة من مساهمات عبر مركز اتصال الحملة. 5,700,000 وجبة من رجال الأعمال والشركات التجارية. 6,800,000 وجبة من الجمعيات الخيرية والإنسانية. والمجموع 15,336,609 وجبات. الكل في الإمارات تعاون على تحقيق هذا العدد الكبير من الوجبات في وقت قياسي، مع تجاوز هدف 10 ملايين وجبة وتوفيرها للأشخاص المحتاجة لها في كل إمارات الدولة. العطاء ما يتعلق بس في التبرع، يتعلق أيضاً بإحداث فرق.
الله يوفق الجميع لخدمة الجميع، والله يحفظ بلادنا ويحفظ أهلنا ويديم علينا وعليكم نعمة الصحة والأمان والاستقرار.
The next award is the business category. This year's award for business goes to an individual who launched Emergency Fund to support startups in the UAE that have a short runway of funds, which will allow them to stay afloat as they navigate current economic challenges during this difficult time. This year's award for business goes to Najla Al-Mitfa. The next award is for the finance category. This award will go to someone who has demonstrated driving initiatives in the finance sector, which included an internal fundraiser focused on providing warm meals to those who have lost their jobs due to COVID-19. This year's award for finance goes to Reem Al-Sayegh. Moving on to our next award, which recognizes the education category. This year's education award will go to an individual whose work and initiatives were responsible for developing educational standards in the UAE and was able to facilitate learning from home for teachers and students. This year's award for education goes to Alisar Nasr Subra.
When I got the call, I was very happy. It meant a lot to me to be recognized, but more so, the word Arab in the award is what meant the world to me. Because I think we are at a day and age where more of us Arab women have to represent. In order to silence the negatives, we have to overpower with the positives. So I consider myself blessed to be in education, blessed to be in a place where every day it's therapeutical to go to work. to mix with kids, to mix with teachers, to mix with people with so much hope, so much love. It's a blessing. I consider every day that I walk into a classroom a privilege. I've been hearing this sentence, and I'm not sure I want to subscribe, or I wish we would all stop using it. The new norm. I don't want this to be the new norm. I would like to refer to it as the temporary norm. Because once we get through this period, I want to go back to hugging our students, to having what we used to have before COVID, which is the appropriate norm. So I'm trying to get away from this new norm concept and have everyone believe we are just in this for a temporary period, and then once we move on, we're going back to smiles that we can see and hugs that we can feel. Someone told me this recently, an alumnus, and she said, you know, Mawakib, it's a family for life. It's not a family for as long as you're here. It's always there for you. No matter when you want to come back for it. You all know that.
We will now move on to the entrepreneur category. This award will go to an individual who has founded their own successful business and has pivoted their business model to react to the COVID crisis by delivering more than 10,000 meals to those who need them in different areas across the city. This year's Entrepreneur Award goes to Kinza Jarjour. The Fashion Award category this year will go to a Dubai-based designer who transformed her entire production resources to manufacturing and producing 10,200 disposable medical gowns and single-use face masks to the Dubai Health Authority. This year's Fashion Award goes to Marmar Halim. The next category is honoring a young designer who has used her talents to create digital illustrations that push the directive to stay home to the public and encourage people to stay in their residences to fight the spread of COVID-19. This year's Young Designer Award goes to Marwa Al-Balushi. The next award is the Young Talent category. This individual is 20 years old and has used her time during the COVID crisis to help others by offering free training sessions on leadership, public speaking, and other necessary skills for youth to succeed in today's world during the pandemic on her platform Level Up DXB. This year's Young Talent Award goes to Haneen Asfour.
Hello everyone, my name is Haneen Asfour. I'm a student at the American University of Sharjah. I'm a TEDx speaker and I'm also the founder of Level Up DXB. Around a year ago or so, I would attend personal development events because I was seeking guidance from professional speakers and professional coaches, and I wanted to improve my own confidence, leadership skills, and most of my soft skills. And I eventually found that most of those personal development events were targeted towards people that were much older than I was, and they discussed topics that were for people that were older than I was. So eventually Level Up DXB was born. Obviously, we were affected by the pandemic, as we used to have physical events where we would bring youth together and we would bring them together to discuss those topics. We would bring professional speakers to speak about those topics and teach and educate, and obviously it was a very interactive, they were very interactive sessions. However, due to the pandemic, we were unable to have those physical events anymore, and so we switched to creating them virtually. We now create so many virtual events, especially in 2020, we had over 15 events so far. Now we're going to have more events, and we usually do them on a bi-monthly basis, so we have them twice a month. And we also created a youth community, an online youth community that meets every single week, twice a week, once for English speakers and once for Arabic speakers. So we would create, those discussions where we would discuss certain topics that matter to the youth, such as confidence, leadership. Because we found that most employers nowadays are not just looking for the technical skills, they're not just looking for people that know how to work on Excel and people that know sales. They're looking for people that are self-motivated and people that are positive and people that are outgoing, people that bring those soft skills into the workplace and eventually make the workplace a better environment for everyone. That is what we aim to do. We aim to create the next generation of youth, and we aim to motivate them and make each person the best person that they can be. So thank you so much to the Arab Women Awards for this nomination. Thank you for nominating me for the Young Talent category. I'm extremely grateful. And obviously my team and I will continue to do what we're doing post-COVID and during this difficult time. Thank you.
Now moving on to a truly important category this year, the medical category. This category has been essential during the COVID crisis, which is why this award will honor 3 medical professionals. I would like to welcome one of our judges, Dr. Sultan, who will elaborate further on this special category.
Throughout the years, the Arab Women Awards have nominated and awarded distinguished women in the medical field, true leaders that paved the way for medical professionals, women of all walks in life, to be acknowledged and known for their achievement. The Arab Women Award 2020 in the medical field nomination was a true challenge because of the COVID-19. We had amazing nominees, and even when we tried as judges to shortlist the amazing, highly qualified professional, it was a tough job. It is an honor to introduce to you the Arab Women Award 2020 in the medical category winners.
Thank you for that, Dr. Sultan. The first award goes to one of the foremost figures in the world of healthcare, who is the official spokesperson for the healthcare sector in the UAE. She has been an incredibly capable leader, leading the charge against the COVID-19 outbreak. Her contributions played a key role in enabling local leadership to respond swiftly to the coronavirus, outlining health and safety protocols and conveying measures and government policies that have saved countless lives. Dr. Farida Al-Husseini. The second award goes to a senior specialist in research related to the groundbreaking stem cell project that showed positive results in treatments for patients suffering from COVID-19. Dr. Fatma Al-Kaabi.
القادم أفضل إن شاء الله.
الأعمار التي يعني حقيقة ربما نعلم منذ بداية أزمة كورونا هناك يعني خطورة على كبار السن. هل هذا العلاج والابتكار العلمي من الخلايا الجذعية يسهم في رفع الحالة الصحية لكبار السن أو الحالات الحرجة؟
حاليا احنا نستخدمها حق سن 18 وما فوق. في بدايه العلاج وال 73 حاله كنا دائما مركزين على سلامه اعطاء هذا العلاج لكل الاعمار هذه. فحاليا وايد صعب منا ان احنا نحدد هل هذا ممكن انه يساعد كبار السن اكثر عن اللي اصغر عنهم. في حاليا ممكن هالاجابه نقدر نتوصلها عقب اسبوعين او 3 اسابيع عقب ما احنا نجمع كل الارقام اللي موجوده حاليا.
The third award goes to an individual who was appointed as the director of the Dubai Field Hospital for the management of corona and led an initiative that created telemedicine, which refers individuals to remote clinical health care facilitated through apps, calls, and video calls. Dr. Manal Taryam. Our next award is for the media category. The winners for this award have driven both awareness and inspiration during the pandemic from behind the scenes. They are co-founders of Sheikha magazine, a publication narrated and managed by the youth of the region. This year's media award goes to Manar and Sharifa Al-Hinai. The next award is for the social media category. The winner for this award has significantly developed her career in social media in the past 3 years, with over 4.5 million Instagram followers. She is a UNHCR high-profile supporter, and during the pandemic, she worked on an initiative through Instagram to support small businesses, brands, and freelancers. This year's Social Media Awards goes to Karen Wazen. The next award is the fitness category. The winner for this award built an online community on Instagram to help people during the past 6 months in keeping active and healthy throughout the pandemic. This year's fitness award goes to Tracy Harmouche. Our next award is for the art category. This award will go to an individual that led a partnership between Dubai Culture and Art Jamil, which helped artists and creatives by providing grants to those affected by closures and cancellations brought on by the pandemic. This year's art award goes to Hala Badri. Our next award is the Social Enterprise category. This individual has led the program that immediately established the National Screening Center's management team in order to meet escalating demands of the COVID-19 situation. She ensured that her team focused on all the details that would ensure people felt safe and comfortable to go to testing centers. Her team was tasked with establishing 13 centers within 10 days in the UAE, which played an instrumental role in increasing the testing capacity in the UAE and combating the spread of the virus. This year's Social Enterprise Award goes to Lubna Haggag. Our next category, the Special Recognition category. This award is for someone who embodies the ethos of the Arab Women Awards. Progression, contribution, creator of change, and inspiration to other women who may not necessarily fit in the categories above. During the pandemic, she participated in 10 Million Meals campaign, where she supervised food delivery baskets and meals, in addition to providing volunteers to support and assist various government agencies and public welfare associations. She managed 3,000 volunteers who were present in the most affected areas and helped in equipping field hospitals and quarantines for those who were affected. This year's Special Recognition Award goes to Tamima Al-Nasir. The next category is the Lifetime Achievement Award. This individual has been a pioneer in her time. She has held several senior positions in higher education and healthcare institutions and is currently the chairperson of Sharjah Private Education Authority. She is a prominent leader in the education sector and has been paving the way for future women who consider her a role model. The Lifetime Achievement Award goes to Her Excellency Dr. Muhaditha Al-Hashimi. Our next category is one of the most prestigious awards given, the Inspirational Woman of the Year. This individual is recognized as the most inspirational Arab woman in the UAE, as an entrepreneur, philanthropist, and published author. She wrote a children's ebook to help the younger generation understand more about the coronavirus pandemic titled, Who is Corona? The story of a virus that stopped the world. This year's Inspirational Woman of the Year award goes to Her Highness Sheikha Shamma bin Sultan bin Khalifa Al Nahyan. That's all the awards we have for you for now. Please join me in congratulating all of our amazing winners. I'd also like to thank again our patron, Sheikh Nahyan bin Mubarak Al Nahyan, our partners, UN Women, our sponsors, Mall of the Emirates, and our judges for their assistance in the selection of this year's deserving winners. Thank you all for being here or for tuning in to see the winners of this year's Arab Women Awards. We are happy to have been able to continue our yearly tradition of acknowledging the leading achievements by the women of this region. Please help me welcome ITP's Managing Director and founder of the Arab Women Awards, Sue Holt, for the final remarks. Take care and stay safe.
Thank you, Moni, and congratulations to all of our winners. What a collective of incredible women we have here this year. From doctors to lawyers to content creators to fashion designers. When this terrible pandemic hit the UAE, their thoughts were, what can I do to help? And those thoughts quickly materialized into action. And those actions have been wide-reaching for society. And this is what makes them all very worthy Arab Woman Award winners today. They kept us safe, they kept us healthy, they kept us positive, they fed us, they informed us, and they also kept us in business. So we are very grateful to you all, you winners, and I would like just to have another round of applause, please, today. Thank you to our partner, Dr. Moaz Doraid, Regional Director from UN Women, for being with us today. We have been very proud to use these awards. Never used to have that problem, did I? To raise awareness of the UN Women initiatives on women across the region devastatingly impacted by the coronavirus. So thank you so much for your partnership. Thank you to Majid Al Futtaim, always, and Mall of the Emirates, putting us to bring the Arab Woman Awards to life this year at the World of Fashion presented by Harper, Bazaar, Arabia. Like most activities this year, it did look shaky at points as to whether we would be here today. But we felt it is the awards mission to showcase amazing women doing amazing things. So with your support, we actually managed to bring it to life again, and also virtually we're bringing it to life as well. So thank you. Finally, a huge thank you to our wonderful judges, who I must say got very excited on WhatsApp when His Highness Sheikh Mohammed's tweet went out. So that was quite thrilling for us all. They had a very, very difficult job, but they actually got on very, very well. There wasn't much creative challenges this year, or creative differences, so it was a very good judging board. So representing the judges here today, could I please call to the stage to accept a very small token of flowers on our behalf? First, Elam Al-Qasim, first Emirati woman to reach the North Pole and now CEO of Digital 14. Elam, please. Thank you. And, I'm off mic. And Nada Abu Saab, Marketing Director of Shopping Malls, Majid Al Futtaim. The full list of winners will be going live on Arabian Business, and the video ceremony will be on Harper's Bazaar Arabia website tomorrow. We are also on the Mall of the Emirates social media site at the moment, and the winners will be announced there as well. We would now like to host you all, unfortunately I'm not including everybody in that, at the Emporio Armani Cafe for a private luncheon to celebrate our winners, to thank our judges, to thank our partners on the second floor. Thank you everyone for joining us today and supporting the Arab Woman Awards with your presence. I hope you have a lovely afternoon. Goodbye.
Oh,